is Author Tim Brown of the book Boys Won't Be Boys. What I do is mentoring with young men, and I'm blessed today to have with me my Ronald Park, and we call him Uncle Huck. He knows Uncle Huck to everybody, and he's been an inspiration to a whole lot of young men in our family. And I just wanted to have him on today. Uncle Huck, you want to say a few things as we get started?
Well, a father was in my household, and we didn't communicate. We, back then, fathers didn't really talk to young men. But I think what really helped me, the other men in the neighborhood that you could talk to, and you felt comfortable talking to them. They helped me to really grow up to be a man. Well, I was grown when I realized I really could talk to my father, because I went to my uncle, which is Uncle Desmond, and I needed to talk to someone. I was having problems after I got married and stuff. And he told me, he said, "What are you coming to me for?" He said, "When I have problems, I go to your father. Why don't you go to him?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I began to really start talking to my father, but I was grown. But like I said, the men's in the neighborhood, I watched them work hard and took care of their families. And there was a few men closer to my age that was grown that I could talk to. And this is what made me probably the man I am today, and especially when I realized I could really talk to my father, because we really started having conversation that a young man needed during them days.
What are some of those lessons that you learned from your dad? Some of those lessons, some of those takeaways.
Hard work, take care of your family. That's the main thing I really learned from him.
Yeah.
He was a hard-working man. He worked at a foundry, which was a job that it was 100 degrees on the outside. It was 200 in the plant that he worked it in. And he get off that job and he would go work. He would go hang sheetrock in people's houses.
Mm.
And he would take me along with him, make me help him with no pay. Didn't believe in paying him. I asked him for some money one time. He told me when I put my feet under that table, I was getting paid. So I had to accept that.
Yeah.
But he did teach me that. He taught me hard work and be honest with people, be fair with people. And I learned that from him. And when I became a man, I carried that with me in life, because I began to get a few jobs, but most of us entrepreneur wanted to work for myself. And he taught me how to be fair with people and give them a good quality job. And that was the most important thing that my father taught me about life.
Yeah, I think those are some important lessons even today. Those lessons are timeless. That hard work, being honest and fair with people, and taking care of your family.
Right.
I think we had this misconception that Black men don't take care of their families. I've been around, but you and I know that's not true. That there's a lot of men out there that are taking care of their families and just being responsible. And so leading to that is, why is it so important to teach the next generation about those things you're talking about, family? Why is that so important to teach the next generation of young men?
Because I feel like they are lost now. They don't have the neighborhoods and the community that we grew up in, where other men came along, which I wasn't able to really talk to my father as a kid, but it was other men that I watch, and they don't have that now. Nowadays, kids are doing what we're doing now. We're doing a thing now called Zoom. And they in front of more computers nowadays than their phones, and they don't really communicate hand on with other men, and I think it's important that we try to teach them. We need to get back to some of that type of teaching in life to help more young people to understand. My mother always told me, "So, kid, we'll listen to you if you want to talk to them." But we have a thing now that a lot of men are afraid to try to talk to young kids nowadays. And it's because of the way they carry themselves and the way they act. But they carry themselves the way they was taught. And it's important for us to stop being afraid to communicate with young people. We own a restaurant in Atlanta, and it's on the side of a service station. So a lot of young people come in. Now, every young person come in there, I can't talk to them because the way they carry themselves, the way they act. And I'd be afraid to approach them about to maybe pulling your pants up. But as you communicate with some of them that come in there, you begin to realize you can talk to them.
Yes.
And then I try to encourage them to do certain things in life that men should do, young men should do in life. And they will listen to you, you know. But we got to get back to that. And the reason me and you are talking now, because I'm mainly concerned about family. And I wish we could just, first thing, we got to stand up and show them that we are men and that we can do things. We can show them how to carry themselves. You know, it's a shame that a lot of young people in our life now, in our family, don't even know us, you know.
Right.
And we gotta get back to those old way of teaching and old way of talking to people, because I think in all our life, some kind of way, somebody touched us in our life to make us be the men that we are today. And this family are blessed, because I look down through generation of this family and see we are blessed, you know, but we're getting away from it. And it bothers me when things like that happen.
Yeah. That leads me to, you've been talking to me about something that you're doing monthly or bi-weekly with a group of nephews there in Atlanta, that you kind of calling them all together and just having those kind of conversations. What is your goal in that? What are you trying to teach those guys?
I would like to meet with them to start, say maybe just getting together first, communicating about a life. Sometimes not only the younger generation, sometimes some of us, some of them that are grown now trying to raise a family, they have problems and they need to talk to somebody, you know, and just being together sometimes can solve some of the, maybe not solve their problems, but ease some of their problems that they are having. And then we can teach each other how to raise our kids and but first the kid got to see us communicate more in order to respect me or another member of the family. We gotta start being together more, the older generation, so that they can see what we are trying to do and which would bring them closer. If we, you know, I noticed one thing about families nowadays. In most families, you take a married couple, 90% of the time, the girl in the family take their kids to their family, but it's very seldom that the men in the family bring their kids to their family. And that bothers me, you know. And it's hard to communicate with the young kids when they don't really know you, or you really don't really communicate with them, you know. And that bothers me, and I see it, and I don't know whether if you really look at life, and I think a lot of us see it, but we don't pay any attention to it. You know, it's very important for men to start taking their kids to their family.
Right. Yeah, it's important to build those relationships, you know, and be intentional about building those relationships. And that's why I appreciate what you're doing and what you've done for our family throughout the years. Been intentional about, if someone invites you to something, you're going to be there. You know, if someone's a part, graduation, whatever's happening, you know, you're going to be there. And I think it's important for us as men to show up, you know, just to be seen. And in that being seen, then that way the family knows that we care, you know, that we're concerned, you know, and then once we build that relationship, they can count on us. And that's one of the things that you've done throughout the years. I remember when my brother, the band, would come down to Atlanta, and you were always there, you know, just being supportive or just knowing someone. So what's inside of you that's driving you to do those kind of things? You know, what is it about your life that leads you to kind of impart those things into others?
Because it's been going on too long that we don't communicate as men together. What desire me to do this or trying to do this, is just unity. I mean, we need unity within ourselves. Not only, sometimes I say my family, but if we say maybe if we communicated more and kids saw us communicating more as a family, we probably would help other kids, not only just in the family. We probably help a kid friend, a family member, kid friend that's out there having problems. They'll see something in us, the unity in us, that they might want us to try to help them. So it can stretch out. It don't have to be mainly family, because if you get involved in something and people need help, you will help them, and just something that I just see that we need to do, and just communicate more. I mean, we don't really communicate enough for me, you know. I mean, I'm not saying that we have to get on the phone all the time, but it's so many ways now to communicate, although, I still have a flip phone.
Right.
but I love it for another reason. I can talk to a person on the phone. Communication to me by mouth is more important than what we're even doing now.
Right.
In which we are doing that now. We are talking to each other. And the good part about it, I see you.
Yeah.
And you can probably see the sincerity in me about what I'm trying to do. And that means a lot, and that make people kind of like be more interested in your conversation, So I mean, it just communication, and we need to change some of it. I mean, I know the younger generation is into technology, in which we gotta have it. I understand that, But if people my age and your age, Tim, begin to communicate more, it might lift the young generation to communicate a little different than they do.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of that whole communication piece, how important that is. And young guys, a lot of times with young men, it's not so much we teach them, it's what they watch. They're always watching,
Right.
how we react with each other, what we say towards one another. And a lot of things are not just taught, but they're caught, catch those things. And
Right.
so what would you want as we wrap this up, what are you thinking about? I know you're at the age now, you're starting to think about your legacy. What do you want the family to remember about Uncle Huck?
I want the family to remember about me that I was a caring person. I tried to be honest and fair with all family members. I don't want nobody to think that I'm better than any other family member, but just know I was a caring person that cared about our family deeply, and wanted us to be more, I guess, together more, and that's basically it. Just a caring person that really loved the family.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
And that's the thing we want to get across to young people, to know the history of the family, just and realize that, hey, we got a great, but we want to go to that next level. Is that what we're talking about? Getting to that next level.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we want to do. And that's what this whole mentoring part is all about, or really pointing to this next generation to get them to understand that there's still work to be done, that we're not there yet. That's the other thing,
Right.
And we're not there until everybody gets there.
Right.
Sure,
Right.
we may be okay, our kids may be okay, but as long as somebody is not there yet, we still got work to do.
We got work to do.
We got work, and we're willing to do that
but
work.
we need to be in a position to help them.
Yes.
With that work,
Yes. And we can do that together. We can do more together than individuals. So that's what.
Right.
Well, I'm all in. Yeah, I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm definitely all in on that. And that's what we want our legacy to be. Be remembered as those who cared, who cared about everybody and who wanted to help everybody, along the way, and then whatever they choose to do. We want to be there to support them, in that. And it's important, I think, nowadays, particularly for young men, to see older men, and that's why I appreciate you, how important it is for you coming around just to be seen. And I want to encourage you in that, is sometimes you don't have to say a word, just the fact that you walk in the building, just the fact that you show up means a whole lot, because that way they get to see older men. They can see what they can become,
Right.
Yeah, if they do this thing the right way, like you said, they work hard, if they're kind to people, they keep God first, that they can see what this looks like. 'Cause a lot of times these young guys, they don't see what it looks like on the back end, you know. They're just
Right.
living for today.
Right.
But I think they can be encouraged by just seeing us, seeing our success, so to speak, and seeing how good God has been to us, you know, and just seeing that will encourage them that, hey, I
Right.
can get this. Yes, you can, you know, you can be there. So I appreciate all that you're doing, and you are still Uncle Huck to everybody, you know. Yeah, you are always going to be that to us. One last thing, because you leave an encouraging word uh, for this and for this next generation. What would that encouraging word be during these times that we're living in? You know, we're living in some times where maybe young people may not see any hope. You know, see all the stuff going on. What's that encouraging word that you would lead to them?
Well, one thing I can tell them, there is hope.
Mhm.
It's definitely hope. And all you have to do is just be faithful to God and pray and just believe that you are. First, you got to believe that you are somebody.
Mm.
You know, you got to put confidence in yourself first before you can do anything in life, you know. And as long as you do that, I don't see no reason for you not for you failing. Life is good for you. It's out there for you, you know, but you got to work hard toward it. But you got to know how to work. You got to know how to treat people in life, you know. And that's basically it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate those encouraging words. So, Uncle Huck, thanks for joining me for this great conversation about
Okay.
mentoring that next generation.